But we're going to take it one step further. We want to show you how to use them. Anybody can pick up a gun and pull the trigger. What we're going to do is we want to train you. We're going to train you tactically. We want to show you how to gunfight. Not mouth fight, gunfight. Not that we need to gunfight anybody, but in case the situation arises, you need to be ready. It's a different scenario when you're put in a situation and you have a threat coming at you. You might be the best bullseye shooter in the world, but I can tell you right now, I don't know if the guys here that are here from Fast Tactics or not. They'll be coming up next to talk. I can tell you right now what these guys are going to talk about next. The best bullseye shooter in the world gets slaughtered in a gunfight. They will get slaughtered. It's not about how good you can shoot or how accurate you are. You just have to be pretty decent with a gun and know your tactics. Know your survival skills. And there's a lot to learn. It's not as simple as you think. You just pull a gun out. And it's not like in the movies. You know? And hopefully something doesn't come down the pike where we're confronted by DHS with their 2,000 re-armored tanks with firing ports out the side of the windows. You know, the Social Security Administration with the 174,000 rounds of hollow point ammunition was procured. 7,000 fully automatic assault rifles. Now they are truly assault rifles. 7,000 machine guns. Can you imagine fighting 7,000, an army of 7,000 men and women in APC carriers with firing ports out the windows?
You know, I've actually read that the people that actually carry and have firearms can outnumber the military 3 times over.
Exactly. You're correct. But what we don't have, what we don't have, are we don't have the training, and we don't have the equipment the military has.
And organization.
And if you read the Constitution correctly, the people have the right to the same thing the military has the right. And I truly believe if I want a tank, I should have the right to own one.
Let's get a tank.
I might not need it, but I have it just in case.
The 3% one on eBay either.
You're right, 3% didn't have any training either. That's my firm belief. If I want a minigun, so be it. Might not ever need it, but it'd be nice to have.
GE brings good things to life.
I don't believe in concealed carry permits. I don't believe in background checks. I believe in, as it was mentioned earlier, in the olden days, people that committed a crime and had to pay debt to society, the first thing law enforcement did and society did was disarm them. They paid their price, they paid their debt to society, and the second thing they did when they got out of prison, or whatever they had to do, is they got their guns back.
Yep.
They gave them their guns back. I'm a firm believer in that. Now, I'm not saying I want to give guns back to murderers, but I truly believe just because you're a felon or you committed something in your life that's, you know, people frown upon, doesn't give you the right to be deprived for the rest of your life, your God-given right. I hope everyone here today really considers about doing something, whether it's joining up with the Constitutional Security Force and getting some training from Fast Tactics. And these guys are going to be some hard-hitting guys. If you're going to sign up and you want to go through the training, you're going to get trained. You're going to be trained gunfighters. Are we starting a militia for all the DHS agents sitting in the room today? And all the FBI agents and the state police? You can kiss my ass. No, we're not starting a militia. We're starting a constitutional security force to protect and defend the Constitution and the rights that were given to us by our founding fathers, by my father, by my grandfather, and every other military personnel that shed their blood or died fighting for our freedom, period. And don't let nobody tell you otherwise. We're not about to form a group to take on the government. If they start to fight, they're going to get one. Boots on the ground. Numbers. That's what we need. I can't do it alone. I can only do so much. I don't have the answers for everything. Like when I spoke down in Maryland the other day, I wish I had the answers for everything. I don't. That's why everybody needs to be involved. We all have to come up with some kind of solution, and hopefully it's a peaceful solution, and it's not a violent one. That's the last thing I want. I don't want to have to go through any kind of war. I don't want to suffer like that. I don't want to have to go through what my father went through, or my grandfather, or anybody else, or the vets that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't want to have to go that through here on the streets of America. It just boggles your mind why they're gearing up. The Department of Homeland Security is gearing up with called cop killer bullets for target qualifications. You're talking armor-piercing rounds to go out and qualify? I don't qualify with armor-piercing rounds. Full metal jackets, but not armor-piercing rounds.
Which are against the Geneva Convention.
Absolutely right.
You pay for your ammo, right?
Yeah, well, I have to buy my own ammunition.
We
I
buy
don't.
theirs, so.
Yeah.
Can you get any?
I can get some, yeah. I can get a little bit. But I'd like to quote from this article in the Possible paper that was published on March 21st. Dear mainstream media, back in 2008, candidate Barack Hussein, they forgot Hussein in that. I'll put that in there. Barack Hussein Obama went off his teleprompter and added a couple of sentences to the text of a speech about expanding the People Corps and American Corps. Overrolling applause. The soon-to-be President of the United States said, "We cannot continue to rely on only our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded, He can have his national security force, we can have our constitutional security force. We the people. Go ahead.
You know, when September 11th happened, I, for the first time, was afraid in my own country. But that fear is nothing compared to the healthy fear that I have now of being terrorized by my own country of what's going on.
You're absolutely right. And they are, the real terrorists are in Washington, 500 and some of them. It's not us. We're not terrorists. I'm not a terrorist. I'm an American. I'm far from a terrorist. I'm not an extremist. I'm an American. I believe in my Second Amendment rights, my God-given rights, and I love my country. I honor my father and every other brave American that fought for their country. That's what this is about. I don't want these thugs, these people that are in Washington, these so-called elected officials who put their hand in the Bible and swear an oath, and then they just disregard it. They're ripping the Bill of Rights to shreds. They're urinating on our Constitution like it's nothing. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I took an oath and I plan on holding it.
They don't have to use the Bible.
They don't have to use the Bible. Ain't that something? What are they using? I guess they're using something else.
Iran.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, it's disturbing. At all levels of government, it's corrupt. From the local elected officials that just keep running and running and running and running. It makes you want to throw up. And then the state officials. I'm a big supporter of term limits. I think there should be term limits all across the country for no matter what position you want to hold. Because if you don't have the term limits, that's how you have tyranny. I mean, we're fortunate enough to have a two-term limit on the presidency. For now, is right. But who knows if we're even going to be around in the next 4 years now. That's just my taking. You know, with all the stuff, I don't know if they're trying to antagonize us to see who does what first.
Game of chicken.
Are we gonna have another Lexington Green situation? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, you know. But if anybody has any questions about the Constitutional Security Force, now's the time to ask them.
How are you setting up the infrastructure within the Constitutional Security Force?
We have bylaws, the infrastructure of bylaws. We have a sergeant of arms that he oversees all memberships. Okay? Our bylaws are posted online. I have a copy. I only brought one copy here, but they're posted on chiefkessler.com. I suggest everybody who wants to become a member to read the bylaws. We're looking for state representatives all over the country to join up and get memberships, get boots on the ground. They don't have to be a full-fledged member. It could be anything. You can do anything for us. We need all help we can get. That's the bottom line. And we all got to do it together.
Could you tell me about your, on your website, it says you must be willing to submit to a background check.
We did away with it. There will be no more. There'll be no more background checks. No.
Well, that was for the auxiliary force, right?
That was for the police department, yeah. Not for the Constitutional Security Force. We're not going to. They're going to be. We have applications over there. If you can read the applications, right behind Dean there should be some applications laying on the table there. I forget what the questions are on them. There's only like 4 or 5 questions on them, but it has nothing to do with background checks or convictions or anything like that. I'm almost positive. Anything else?
Any other groups that are in here today, like the PADF, Defense Force, can we take advantage of some of the training that you guys offer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Justin in Fast Tactics and Joe from Fast Tactics are more than willing to travel if we get enough people to sign up for the training. We encourage you to be a member for the Constitutional Security Force. You don't have to be a member to get trained. I'm sure these guys are more than willing to train anybody who's willing to come to them.
Is the goal,
Go ahead.
is the goal to set up organizations in each county, you know, in Pennsylvania and other states as well?
As many as possible. As many states. I think we have 38 chapters right now. From what I think, we have 38 chapters in 38 states. We have, I'm not sure, we did away with the chapter presidents because of a troll. We had an infiltrator. So, in the infancy of the organization, we had an infiltrator actually. He's probably, who knows who was working for, but so we did away with chapter presidents. Now we have state representatives, and I don't care if we have 100,000 state representatives in each state. The more the merrier. You know, it's about numbers. It's about people. It's about all of us.
So the training, is it mainly, is it going to be up here, or are you going to have like satellite training centers throughout?
Yeah, we're going to try and, we want to take it nationally. We don't do this all over the country. We're going to try and team up with more. Like I said, these guys are the first training company to come on board. We have another Diamondback Combat Tactical out of Peru. Whoever's willing to go to Peru for 2 weeks, you can get a hotel down there for about $20, they told me, with air conditioning and 30-cent meals, and they have access to every kind of weapon you can imagine. All you have to do is show up with your gear, you know, and you can go through a training course down there. We don't know what the price is yet. I definitely want to go down for at least a week or two, just to check it out. They're down there training the Peru military and the Peru private security with military-style weapons.
How are you handling, or are you accepting any affiliations to the Constitutional Security Force?
Yeah. We're more than happy to affiliate ourselves with whoever wants to be affiliated with us. You know, that's not a problem. I believe there's another. I don't see the other one tonight.
You had mentioned you have, were you calling on the year?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You had mentioned you have chapters in 38 states.
Correct.
Do those states also have a chief of police or a law enforcement agency leading it, or are they just ordinary citizens that have set up those chapters?
There are a lot of ordinary citizens right now, ex-military,
Okay.
ex-police officers.
Okay.
For some reason, I'm the only one on Sheriff Mac, I'm the only chief of police, so hopefully that'll change. There's a chief in here somewhere from West Virginia who drove up from West Virginia, I don't know if he's still there. He's around somewhere, he might be outside. He's around somewhere. He came up today. I'm the only chief of police on Sheriff Richard Mack's website as a constitutional chief of police. Hopefully we're going to try and get this guy on the list also. He's a good guy. I'm going to need to talk to him about setting up a chapter that he can run, and his sheriff is a good guy down there. I think his sheriff might be on Sheriff Richard Mack's website, CSPOA.org, as a constitutional sheriff. So we want to get as many boots on the ground as we can. Anybody else has any question?
Do you have any kind of a communications network, if, let's call it, I don't want to call it alternative attack, more alternative defense, so let's call it Red Dawn?
Yeah, that's a good question. We're working on right now ham radio systems. I'm trying to get, I know Mike Williams, who the former Oath Keepers Pennsylvania chapter president, is a ham radio operator. He did it in the military. He's going to be training classes on how to do the ham radio systems. So that's going to be part of the communication. If something would happen where you can't use your phone, you can't get out on the internet or something like that, ham radio will be another thing.
Actually, if I just want to make a statement as far as what you're doing here, there is no better way to have a civilian organized security force than what you have as a duly constituted law enforcement officer as well as legal representation. You can go off into the woods all you want and play by yourself. If something happens, you will be steamrolled. And as far as the 3% goes, 3% that fought the American Revolution, they got steamrolled for 2 years until Lafayette and von Steuben gave them some training. So you're definitely on the right track.
Thank you. With that being said, if nobody else has any questions, I have someone here from the Sheriff's Brigade that would like to speak. Great man. I met this man down in...
And we're willing to give that to you. We're not promoting breaking the law or anything like that, just like Chief said. But if something would happen and you're not prepared, we're going to get steamrolled. So, the medical training, a lot of people see in the force on force, there's a good chance you're going to get hit. It's invaluable training. The medical training Joe can provide for you, we can provide for you, and everything else.
Good.
Where's your training facility at in Pennsylvania?
It is in Pittsburgh. It's right outside of Pittsburgh in Oakdale, PA.
Yeah, we have 2 SWAT teams that train there monthly. Local law enforcement train there all the time. It's good enough for them.
Are you guys on the website on the chief's website?
Yes.
We're linked as the trainers for Pennsylvania.
Fast Act.
Fast Act.
Yes,
We have our own website. We got business cards to pass out.
When you travel to train, what facilities or areas do you guys utilize?
We need gun clubs that are on board, private property, man. You got a couple acres of land you can shoot at, we can do that. My insurance travels with us. Anywhere I go, the insurance goes. Anywhere Joe goes, the
What's
insurance
a
goes.
general coverage area you guys like to have, acreage or?
Oh, we're teaching gunfighting, guys. Our gunfight's 40 feet or less.
Okay.
Means how much land do you need? Is
Yeah.
that what your question is?
Yeah, like how much area do you
we're-
need if you travel out?
Okay.
What do you prefer?
We'd prefer to come to a gun club because it's a set-up range. But if you have a facility or acreage where you can shoot, you have a range set up, naturally, before we train there, I want to see pictures, I want to talk to you, I want to be, because I can't give you an exact on acreage, because what if you have 50 acres, but where we're shooting, there's a house right over the hill, or, you know what I mean? We have to be safe. Naturally, we're not going to go do anything we don't feel comfortable in doing. Your safety is our #1 concern, just like everybody else's. So we prefer to come to gun clubs or training ranges, but if you have a private range, you want us to come somewhere private, we can work that out. We can do that. Naturally, there's going to be some, some setup time or some, some meet and greet so we know what's going on. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead,
What do you guys primarily train with? Primary airsoft or?
No, actually,
Live fire?
we do live fire, yes, with pistol, all types of weapon systems, shotgun, M4. We don't really get into submachine guns and stuff. We're not really those guys. We do with arms firing, rifle, what you would call patrol rifle, law enforcement does, naturally semi-auto. We also do pistol and shotgun. We do airsoft training just for the force on force. And it's because it's a tool that we can use, and what can we do? We can basically shoot each other with a little BB, and you can learn real world skills. Justin was saying today, I had this IDPA guy. He's a class 3 firearms dealer. Says he shoots about 300, 400 rounds a week, excuse me. I actually almost took that firearm out of his hands before he shot me. Okay? So, we're going to teach you that skill set that you will survive a fight. Okay? Some of my mentors were ODA guys, Green Berets, ex-Navy SEALs. Same thing with Justin. We train with some of these guys. And one thing I will say about all that, though, is when you train with those guys, you got to pay the Larry Vickers of the world, the Chris Costa and everybody else, all this money. Okay? What do you really think they're teaching you? Do you think they're teaching you how SEAL Team 6 operates?
Nope.
No.
You answer that question on your own. Okay? They're going to teach you what you want to learn. They're going to make you feel good about yourself. I'm not here to make you feel good about yourself. I'm here to make you learn how to survive a gunfight. Okay? And if you don't, you won't be a customer again, will you? Okay? And if you do get hit, because the likelihood of getting hit in a gunfight is very high, I'm going to teach you how to patch yourself up with a kit that I have right here in my pocket that you can pull out. That little bit right there has quick clot, has a tourniquet, has chest decompression, has seals. Okay? This will save your life. I carry it every day. I don't just talk.